The scanning bay hummed with activity as Vex worked at his console. His 6 arms moved across the controls with practiced ease. He had been the Galactic Council's best scanner technician for 20 years. Nothing surprised him anymore. Or so. He thought. The human warship sat in the docking bay like a sleeping monster. The Council forces had captured it 3 days ago after a brief battle. The humans had fought hard, but they were outnumbered 50-1. Their ship was damaged and their crew was now in prison cells. Vex finished the deep scan and stared at his screen. His breathing stopped. The numbers made no sense. He ran the scan again, then a 3rd time. Each time, the results were the same. This cannot be right, he whispered to himself. Commander Thale entered the scanning bay. He was a tall, blue-skinned Alterian with golden eyes. His uniform was covered in medals from countless battles. He had never lost a fight in his 30-year career. "What do you have for me, Vex?" Thale asked. Vex turned around slowly. His face was pale. "Commander, I think there has been an error with our equipment." "What kind of error?" "The scan shows impossible readings. The human ship's armor is made from metals that should not exist. The density readings are off our charts. This material is stronger than anything we have ever seen." Thale frowned. "Show me." Vex pulled up the scan results on the main screen. The image of the human ship appeared, rotating slowly. Red markers highlighted different sections. "Look at this," Vex pointed at the hull. "The outer armor is 20 meters thick. But it is not just thick. It is made from some kind of super-dense alloy. Our best weapons would barely scratch it. That is impossible. No species has materials that advanced. That is what I thought too. But look at this." Vex changed the display. "They're weapons systems. They fire solid metal projectiles. Not energy beams, not plasma bolts, chunks of metal." Thale laughed. "Metal bullets? How primitive." "No, Commander, not primitive. These projectiles move at 30% the speed of light. They carry more kinetic energy than our largest plasma cannons. When they hit something, they do not just damage it. They completely destroy it." The smile faded from Thale's face. "Show me more." Vex's hands shook as he changed the display. Again, their reactor. "Commander, they have built a star inside their ship. A real star. They contain it with magnetic fields and use it for power. The energy output is beyond our measurement systems." "A star? Inside a ship?" "Yes. And that is not the worst part. Look." At this, the screen showed the ship's internal structure. Every system has backup systems. And those backup systems have backup systems. If we destroy their main weapons, they have secondary weapons. If we destroy those, they have emergency weapons. This ship is designed to keep fighting, even when it is almost completely destroyed. Thale stared at the screen. His golden eyes were wide with shock. "What else?" "Their computer systems. Commander, they have files on us, detailed files. They know our ship designs, our weapons, our weaknesses. They know things about Alterian biology that even our own doctors do not know." "How is that possible?" "We have never met humans before. I do not know. But they have been watching us for a long time." Vex pulled up another file. "Look at this. They have psychological profiles on every council species. They know which sounds cause pain to our ears. They know which colors make us afraid. They know how to break our minds." Thale felt cold fear creeping up his spine. "What kind of monsters are these humans?" "I found something else. Something worse." Vex's voice was barely a whisper. "This ship is not a warship." "What do you mean?" "It has enough weapons to destroy a moon. According to their own files, this is a light patrol vessel. They call it a scout ship. Commander, if this is what they use for scouting, what do their real warships look like?" The scanning bay fell silent. Both aliens stared at the image of the human ship. It no longer looked like a captured prize. It looked like a warning. Thale's communicator beeped. The voice of Admiral Ken, the fleet commander, came through. "Commander Thale, report to my quarters immediately. Bring the scan results." "Yes, Admiral." Thale looked at Vex. "Send all the data to the Admiral's office." "And Vex?" "Yes, Commander. Do not share this information with anyone else. Not yet." Vex nodded. As Thale left, the technician looked back. At his screen, the human ship rotated slowly, its dark hull reflecting the lights of the scanning bay. It looked peaceful now. But Vex knew better. This was no ordinary ship. This was a nightmare made real. He scrolled through more files. The humans had weapon designs that defied physics. They had armor that could stop anything the Council could throw at it. They had computers that could think faster than any organic mind. But the most terrifying thing was in the ship's identification codes. The vessel was called East Defiance. According to the Human Fleet Registry, it was ship number 47,293 in their patrol fleet. Not their main fleet. Their patrol fleet. Vex did some quick calculations. If the humans had over 47,000 patrol ships, and each patrol ship was this powerful, then their total military strength was beyond imagination. The Galactic Council had maybe 10,000 ships total, spread across 12 species. He found another file labeled Ship Classifications. His blood turned to ice as he read it. Light Patrol Vessel was the smallest military ship in the human fleet. Above it were heavy patrol vessels, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and something called DREADNOUG HTS. At the bottom of the file was a note, "For defensive operations only. Offensive fleet classifications remain restricted." Vex realized that everything they thought they knew about space warfare was wrong. The Council species had been playing at war like children with toys. The humans had turned war into a science. They had built ships that could fight against gods and win. He looked at one more file. It was labeled Rules of Engagement. The first line made his hands shake. Human forces will always attempt peaceful contact first. If peaceful contact fails, human forces are authorized to use minimum necessary force to achieve mission objectives. Minimum necessary force. This unstoppable war machine was them holding back. Vex turned off his console and sat in the dark scanning bay. The human ship loomed before him, silent and patient. He wondered if the humans knew their ship had been captured. He wondered if they cared. Most of all, he wondered what would happen when the rest of the human fleet came looking for their missing scouts. Science Officer Kara sat in the translation chamber, surrounded by holographic displays. The room buzzed with the quiet hum of quantum processors working at full capacity. She had been trying to decode the human ship's database for 2 days straight. Her green Kalari skin had turned pale from exhaustion, but she could not stop working. The human language was unlike anything in the galactic records. It had no telepathic components like Kalari speech. It had no harmonic layers like Alterian words. It was purely vocal, made of sounds that seemed random and harsh. Yet somehow it carried incredible amounts of information. "Computer, display translation progress," Kara said. "Translation at 47% completion," the computer replied in its calm voice. "Current file being processed, galactic species. Analysis section 4 of 23. Kara rubbed her tired eyes. She had already seen enough to know that something was very wrong. The humans had files on every known species in the galaxy. Not just basic information. Detailed studies that went deeper than anything the Council had on themselves. Dr. Wren entered the chamber. He was an elderly Droxy, his gray fur marked with the wisdom stripes of his people. He had been the Council's chief linguist for over 40 years. "Any progress, Kara?" he asked. "Too much progress," she replied. "Dr. Wren, what I am finding in here, it scares me. Show me." Kara pulled up the first translated file. This is their analysis of Alterian psychology. Look at this section. She pointed to a block of text. They know that high-frequency sounds, between 2000 and 2500 Hz, cause severe pain to Alterian ears. They know that blue light at specific wavelengths triggers fear responses in Alterian brains. Dr. Wren read the file with growing alarm. How could they know this? Our own scientists only discovered the frequency sensitivity 5 years ago. It gets worse. Kara opened another file. This is about your people, the Droxy. They have mapped your pack bond structures. They know that separating a Droxy from their family group for more than 6 hours causes psychological breakdown. They have charts showing exactly how to manipulate Droxy emotions by threatening pack members. The old Droxy's ears flattened against his head. That information is classified. Only the Council Medical Board has access to those studies. The humans have it, and they have much more. Kara's voice was shaking now. Look at this file on the Volthan. They have identified 17 different ways to cause a complete mental collapse in a Volthan warrior. 17 ways, Dr. Wren. They have turned psychology into a weapon. Dr. Wren sat down heavily. His old bones creaked. What else have you found? Kara opened a new section. Environmental warfare tactics. They know that Kaleri cannot survive in temperatures below -10 degrees. They know that Alterian breathing becomes difficult in oxygen levels below 18%. They know that Droxy lose motor control in gravity fields above 1.4 standard. These are basic biological facts. No, these are tactical advantages. Look at this. She showed him a detailed chart. They have calculated exactly how to terraform a planet to make it uninhabitable for any council species while remaining perfect for humans. They can turn any world into a weapon against us. Double quotes. Dr. Wren's hands were shaking as he read. Show me more. Kara hesitated. Are you sure? What I found. Next is disturbing. Show me everything. She opened a file labeled Combat Psychology Analysis. The screen filled with detailed studies of how different species react to fear, pain, and stress. There were charts showing how long each species could fight before breaking. There were graphs predicting surrender points for entire fleets. They have studied us like laboratory animals, Kara whispered. They know our breaking points better than we do. Dr. Wren read in silence for several minutes. When he looked up, his eyes were filled with horror. These humans, they are not just warriors. They are predators. They study their prey before they hunt. There is more. Kara opened another section. Cultural analysis files. They know our religions, our governments, our social structures. They know which council species are natural allies and which ones barely tolerate each other. They have detailed plans for how to turn us against each other. Plans? Psychological warfare scenarios. How to make the Alterian fleet distrust the Kaleri ships. How to convince the Volthan that the Droxy are planning betrayal. They can destroy the council without firing a single shot. Dr. Wren stood up and paced around the room. How long have they been watching us? Kara checked the file. Timestamps. The oldest files are dated 73 Earth years ago. They have been studying us for longer than most of our people have been alive. Impossible. We would have detected their ships. Not if they did not want to be detected. Kara pulled up a technical file. Look at this. Stealth technology that bends light around their ships. They can sit right next to us, and we would never know they were there. Dr. Wren felt his legs go weak. They could be watching us right now. I found something else. A file called First Contact Protocols. Kara's voice was barely audible. They had detailed plans for meeting us. Different scenarios for different types of contact. Peaceful contact, accidental contact, and hostile contact. What did their plan say about hostile contact? Kara read from the file. In the event Of hostile first contact, human forces are authorized to demonstrate overwhelming superiority to prevent extended conflict. Goal is to achieve unconditional surrender within 72 hours of first engagement. 72 hours, Dr. Wren repeated. They plan to conquer the entire galaxy in 3 days. There is more. Something called contingency protocols. Kara opened the largest file in the database. This contains detailed war plans for fighting every possible combination of Council species. Plans for fighting 1 species, 2 species, all 12 species. At once, Dr. Wren looked at the file structure. There were thousands of documents. Battle plans, supply chains, target lists, invasion routes. How many scenarios did they plan for? Every scenario. They have plans for fighting us in space, on planets, in asteroid fields, in gas giants. They have plans for short wars and long wars. They have plans for fighting us with full fleets and with single ships. And do their plans show them winning? Kara was quiet for a long moment. All of them. Every single plan ends with human victory. Dr. Wren sat back down. What kind of species plans for total galactic conquest before they even meet their neighbors? The kind that has already conquered everything else. Kara pointed to another file. Earth history. Dr. Wren, they did not just evolve into predators. They spent their entire history fighting each other. Every generation for thousands of years. They have been practicing warfare longer than our species have had spaceflight. The translation computer beeped. New file translated. Current fleet positions. Kara opened the file and gasped. It showed real-time locations of every Council ship. In known space. Positions, crew sizes, weapon loadouts, fuel levels, everything. They know where every one of our ships is, she whispered. Right now. Dr. Wren stared at the display. Red dots marked Council vessels scattered across hundreds of star systems. All of them were exposed. All of them were vulnerable. How? He asked. I do not know. But they are watching everything we do. The computer beeped again. Translation complete. All files now accessible. Kara looked at the massive database. Thousands of files filled with information that could destroy the Council. Plans, weaknesses, strategies, secrets. The humans had turned knowledge into a weapon more dangerous than any bomb. What do we do now? Dr. Wren asked. Kara closed the files and looked at the blank screen. We pray that they never decide to use what they know. Captain Blake sat in his cell like a statue. The interrogation room was built to break the strongest minds. The walls were white and featureless. The lights were too bright. The temperature was too cold. The chair was uncomfortable. Everything was designed to make prisoners want to talk. But Blake just sat there. His hands were folded in his lap. His breathing was steady. His eyes stared straight ahead. He had not spoken a single word in 3 days. Interrogator Nord paced around the room. He was a Volthan, tall and thin with silver skin that reflected the harsh lights. The Volthan were known across the galaxy as the best interrogators. Their natural telepathic abilities could sense lies and read emotions, but the human captain was like a wall. Nord could read nothing from his mind. This is pointless, Nord said to his assistant. 3 days and nothing. No fear, no anger, no desperation. It is like interrogating a machine. His assistant, a young Kalari named Jix, looked up from her notes. Should we try drugs, pain inducers, memory extractors? The Council forbids torture, Nord replied. Besides, I do not think it would work on this one. Blake spoke for the first time. His voice was calm and clear. You are right. It would not work. Nord spun around. Finally, you decide to speak. I was never deciding not to speak. I was waiting for the right time. The right time for what? Blake smiled. It was not a cruel smile or a threatening smile. It was the kind of smile a teacher gives to a slow student. The right time to tell you the truth. Nord sat down across from Blake. Then tell me, what do you want to know? Everything. Why did you attack our patrol ships? What were you doing in Council space? How many more human ships are out there? Blake leaned back in his chair. We did not attack your patrol ships. We defended ourselves when you fired on us. As for what we were doing in your space, we were exploring. And as for how many more ships are out there ... double quotes, he paused and smiled again. How many stars are in the sky? That is not an answer. It is the only answer I can give you. The human fleet is larger than you can imagine. Nord tried to probe Blake's mind with his telepathic abilities. He felt nothing. It was like trying to read the thoughts of empty space. Why can I not sense your emotions? Because I am not afraid, angry, or desperate. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. What does that mean? Blake looked around the interrogation room. Do you really think your security systems could hold us if we did not want to be here? Nord felt a chill run down his spine. You are prisoners. Your ship is captured. Your weapons are disabled. Are they? Blake asked. Before Nord could respond, the lights in the room flickered. For just a moment, the white walls showed a different image. Star charts, technical displays, weapon targeting systems. Then the walls returned to normal. What was that? Jix whispered. Blake shrugged. Your security is not as good as you think it is. Nord stood up quickly. How? Your ship is powered down. Your crew is in cells. You powered down our main systems. But humans always have backup plans. And backup plans for the backup plans. Blake's voice remained calm. Tell me, Interrogator Nord, how well do you know your own security systems? I know them perfectly. Do you? Did you know that 17 of your guard stations are now showing false readings? Did you know that your communication systems have been sending encrypted messages for the past 6 hours? Did you know that your own computers are now working for us? Nord's silver skin turned pale. Impossible. Nothing is impossible. It just requires proper planning. Blake stood up slowly. Would you like to know a secret, Nord? What secret? My crew and I volunteered for this mission. We knew we would be captured. We wanted to be captured. Why would you want to be prisoners? Blake walked to the wall and placed his hand on it. The surface suddenly became transparent, showing the stars. Outside. Because the best way to learn about your enemy is to let them capture you. To see their ships from the inside. To study their technology. To understand their weaknesses. Nord backed away from Blake. Guards, security alert. Nothing happened. The alarms did not sound. The doors did not open. Your guards cannot hear you. Blake said. Your communication systems are under our control now. This is impossible. You are one man in a cell. I am one man with a crew of 47. And we have been very busy these past 3 days. Blake turned back to Nord. Do you want to know what we learned about your ships? Nord could not speak. Fear had frozen his voice. Your shields have a resonance frequency that can be exploited. Your weapons have a charge cycle that creates a 2-second vulnerability window. Your hull armor is strong against energy weapons, but weak against kinetic impact. Your life support systems have a single point of failure that can disable an entire ship. Blake began walking around the room. But the most interesting thing we learn it is about your people. Vulthan telepaths can read emotions, but they cannot handle psychic static. Kaleri have excellent reflexes, but they panic in confined spaces. Alterian warriors are brave, but they lose focus when exposed to certain sound frequencies. How do you know all this? Because we have been watching, and learning, and preparing. Blake stopped in front of Nord. Did you think humans just wandered into galactic space by accident? Did you think we stumbled onto your patrol ships by chance? Nord's telepathic abilities were useless. He could sense nothing from the human except calm confidence. What do you want? what every species wants: to survive, to grow, to explore the galaxy. Blake's smile disappeared. But we learned long ago that the galaxy is not a safe place. So we prepared for the worst. The worst? War with everyone. At the same time, against impossible odds, Blake sat back down. Humans are very good at fighting impossible wars, Nord. We have been doing it for thousands of years. Your species fights itself. Our species fights everything. We fought the weather. We fought wild animals. We fought diseases. We fought each other. We fought our own planet until we conquered it. Completely. Blake's voice was matter-of-fact, like he was discussing the weather. Earth tried to kill us every day for millions of years. So we became very hard to kill. Nord finally found his voice. Why are you telling me this? Because your people need to understand what they are dealing with. This ship, my crew, this whole situation, it is all a test. A test of what? A test to see how the Galactic Council would react to contact with humans. Would you be peaceful? Would you be curious? Would you be hostile? Blake shrugged. You chose hostile. So now we know what kind of neighbors you are. What happens now? Blake checked his watch. It was a simple mechanical device that looked ancient compared to galactic technology. Now we wait. My people will be here soon. How soon? Soon enough. Blake smiled one more time. I hope your council is prepared for visitors. The lights went out. In the darkness, Nord heard Blake's voice one last time. Do not worry, Nord. If you cooperate, no one has to get hurt. Sensor operator Lynn stared at her displays in confusion. The long-range scanners were showing something impossible. She ran the scan again, then a third time. The readings remained the same. Contact the bridge, she told her assistant. Tell them we have multiple contacts at the edge of the system. How many contacts? Her assistant asked. Lynn looked at the number on her screen. 237 ships. The assistant's eyes went wide. That cannot be right. Run a diagnostic on all sensor arrays, Lynn ordered. Check for system failures or interference. While her assistant worked, Lynn studied the sensor readings more carefully. The ships were arranged in perfect formation. 3 main groups with smaller escort formations between them. It was a classic battle formation, but larger than anything she had ever seen. Diagnostics complete, her assistant reported. All sensors operating normally, no interference detected. Lynn's hands shook as she opened a communication channel to the bridge. Bridge, this is sensor control. We have confirmed contacts at system edge. 237 unknown vessels in attack formation. Admiral Zen's voice came through the speakers. Size and classification of contacts? Lynn checked her readings again. Admiral, the smallest ships are larger than our heavy cruisers. The largest ... double quotes, she paused to double-check the numbers. The largest are 15 kilometers long. Silence filled the communication channel. Finally, Admiral Zen spoke. Are you certain of those measurements? Yes, Admiral. Sensors confirmed 3 times. Send all data to Fleet Command. Battle stations, all ships. Alarms began ringing throughout the Council fleet. In the command center, Admiral Zen studied the tactical display with growing alarm. His fleet consisted of 42 ships from 12 different species. It was the largest combined force the Council had assembled in decades. Now it looked like a small patrol compared to what was coming toward them. Communications, try to contact the unknown fleet, Zen ordered. Communications Officer Park activated. The long-range transmitters. Unknown fleet, this is Admiral Zen of the Galactic Council. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions. The reply came immediately. The voice was calm and professional. Admiral Zen, this is Admiral Ross of the Human Colonial Fleet. We are here to retrieve our people and our ship. Zen felt his heart skip a beat. Humans, the same species whose ship they had captured, Admiral Ross, your people attacked our patrol vessels. They are being held pending investigation. Admiral Zen, our people defended themselves when fired upon. We have reviewed the sensor logs from our ship. Your vessels opened fire first. That is ... that is not accurate. We have complete recordings of the engagement. Would you like us to transmit them? Zen looked at his tactical officer. The alien shook his head slightly. They had no recordings. The patrol ships that found the human vessel had been destroyed in the battle. Admiral Ross, we can discuss this through diplomatic channels. There is no need for military action. We agree completely. Please return our people, and we will leave peacefully. Zen studied the tactical display. The human fleet was still moving toward them, but slowly. They were not rushing to attack. That was encouraging. I will need time to contact the council. Leadership, Zen said. You have 30 minutes. The channel closed. Zen turned to his officers. Options? His tactical officer, Commander Yek, spoke first. We could retreat to the inner system. Force them to fight near the planet where our orbital defenses can help. What are our chances? Yek studied his displays. Against normal ships? Good. Against these? He shook his head. Unknown. Their technology appears far superior to ours. Recommendations? Negotiate. Find out what they really want. Zen nodded. Communications, open a channel to the human flagship. Channel open, Admiral. Admiral Ross, this is Admiral Zen. I am willing to discuss terms, but I need assurance that you will not attack during negotiations. Admiral Zen, we have no desire for unnecessary bloodshed. As long as you do not fire on us, we will not fire on you. Agreed. However, I must inform you that I cannot release your people without authorization from the Council. How long will that authorization take? Several days, possibly weeks. There was a pause. When Admiral Ross spoke again, his voice was colder. Admiral, our patience has limits. I understand your concern, but there are procedures. Admiral Zen, are you familiar with human military doctrine? The question caught Zen off guard. No, I am not. Human military doctrine is very simple. We always try diplomacy first. We believe that most conflicts can be resolved without violence. However, if diplomacy fails, we respond with overwhelming force to end the conflict as quickly as possible. Are you threatening us? I am explaining our position. We want our people back. We are willing to wait 30 minutes for you to contact your superiors. If they refuse to release our people, we will take them back. Zen felt sweat forming on his skin. Admiral Ross, you are outnumbered. Our combined fleet has 42 warships. Admiral Zen, we have reviewed your fleet composition. 12 different species, each with different technology, different tactics, different command structures. You have never fought together as a unified force. That is, we have trained together. Training is not combat. In a real battle, your fleet will fragment. Each species will protect their own ships first. Communication between different species will break down under stress. Your formation will collapse within the first 10 minutes. Zen realized that everything Admiral Ross was saying was true. The Council fleet had never been tested in real combat. They had run exercises, but never against a real enemy. How can you be so certain? Zen asked. Because we have studied you. We know your strengths and weaknesses. We know how each of your species fights. We know how they react under pressure. You have been spying on us. We have been observing, learning, preparing for this day. Zen's tactical officer whispered urgently in his ear. Admiral, our sensors are detecting weapons charges throughout their fleet. They are preparing to fire. Admiral Ross, our sensors show you are powering weapon systems. Standard procedure when negotiations reach an impasse. Admiral Zen, you now have 22 minutes to contact your superiors. Zen opened a private channel to the Council homeworld. The response was immediate. Council Leader Max appeared on the screen, his aged face showing concern. "Admiral, what is the situation?" "Leader Max, we are facing a human fleet of over 200 ships. They demand the return of their captured personnel." "Absolutely not. We cannot appear weak by surrendering prisoners to threats. Sir, their fleet is extremely powerful. I do not believe we can win this battle." "Admiral, you command the combined might of 12 species. Surely you can handle one unknown fleet." "Sir, with respect, you are not seeing what I am seeing. These ships are beyond anything in our experience. Fight them, Admiral. Show these humans that the Council is not afraid." The channel closed. Zen stared at the blank screen. He had his orders. "All ships, prepare for battle," he announced on the fleet channel. The response was immediate. Across 42 ships, weapons came online and shields activated. The Council fleet moved into attack formation. Admiral Ross's voice came through the speakers one final time. "Admiral Zen, this is your last chance. Stand down your weapons and return our people." Zen took a deep breath. "Admiral Ross, the Galactic Council does not yield to threats. If you want your people, you will have to take them. So be it." The human fleet opened fire. The battle was over in 18 minutes. Council Leader Max sat at the head of the negotiation table, his hands shaking slightly. Across from him sat Admiral Ross and Captain Blake. The meeting room aboard the human flagship was unlike anything the Council representatives had ever seen. The walls showed star charts that updated in real time. The table itself was made from a single piece of metal that seemed to absorb light. Everything in the room spoke of power held in careful control. "Before we begin," Admiral Ross said quietly, "I want to make something clear. The battle could have lasted 18 seconds instead of 18 minutes. We chose to disable your ships rather than destroy them. We could have killed everyone, but we did not want to." Max tried to keep his voice steady. "Your point is noted." "Good. Now let us discuss the new situation." Dr. Wren, who had survived when his ship was disabled, spoke up nervously. "What new situation?" Captain Blake answered. "The situation where humanity is no longer hiding. For 70 years, we watched your species develop. We learned your languages, studied your cultures, mapped your territories. We stayed hidden because we hoped you would prove to be peaceful neighbors." "We are peaceful," Max protested. "You fired on our scout ship the moment you detected it," Admiral Ross replied. "You imprisoned our crew without attempting communication. You ignored our requests for their return. This is not the behavior of a peaceful species. We were protecting ourselves from unknown threats by attacking first." Blake leaned forward. "That is not protection. That is aggression." Max felt sweat on his forehead. "What do you want from us?" Admiral Ross activated a holographic display. It showed the entire galaxy with thousands of marked systems. "We want cooperation, but not the kind of cooperation you are used to." "What does that mean?" "It means humanity will be taking a more active role in galactic affairs. Your species have proven that you cannot maintain peace on your own. You fight each other constantly. You waste resources on petty territorial disputes. You ignore threats that could destroy entire civilizations." Dr. Wren studied the display. "What kind of threats?" Blake pointed to several dark regions on the star. "Map: pirates operating in the outer rim systems. Slavers kidnapping entire colonies. A species called the Devourers that consumes planets in the far spiral arm. These threats exist because your council refuses to act decisively. We follow diplomatic protocols," Max said weakly. "Your diplomatic protocols allow evil to flourish while you debate," Admiral Ross replied. "That ends now. You cannot simply take over galactic government. We are not taking over anything. We are offering guidance." Ross changed the display. To show fleet positions. Human ships will be stationed in key systems throughout Council space. We will assist with defense, trade protection, and threat elimination. And if we refuse this assistance? Blake smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Leader Max, your entire fleet was disabled in 18 minutes. Your best ships, your finest crews, your most advanced weapons. None of it mattered. Do you really think refusal is an option? Max looked around the room. The other council representatives were silent. They had all seen the battle recordings. They knew their military was useless against human technology. What are your specific demands? Max asked. Admiral Ross stood in. Walk to the star map. First, all council military operations will be coordinated through human command. Your ships will receive new weapons and shields designed by human engineers. Your crews will be trained in human tactics. Second, trade routes will be protected by joint human council patrols. Piracy will be eliminated within 6 months. Third, the outer colonies will receive immediate support. New settlements will be established with human protection. No more abandoned colonies, no more lost worlds. Dr. Wren raised his hand hesitantly. What about our independence? Our sovereignty? Blake answered. Your species keep their governments, their cultures, their territories. But major military decisions go through human command. Think of it as ... insurance. Insurance against what? Against extinction. Blake activated another display. This one showed ship construction data. While you have been building 42 ships over the past decade, humanity has built over 50,000. The number hit the council representatives like a physical blow. 50,000 ships. Max's voice was barely a whisper. 50,000? That is just our patrol and exploration fleets, Admiral Ross said casually. Our defensive fleets are much larger. How is that possible? Earth has 12 billion people, Leader Max. Our industrial capacity is beyond your comprehension. We can build ships faster than you can count them. Blake pulled up another chart. Your combined populations across all 12 council species total approximately 8 billion people. Earth alone has more people than your entire alliance. Dr. Wren was studying the numbers with growing horror. How many humans serve in your military? Less than 1% of our population, Blake replied. About 80 million people. The rest are civilians. 80 million soldiers, Max repeated numbly. Soldiers, pilots, engineers, support staff, Admiral Ross clarified. And that is just our active military. We have reserves numbering in the hundreds of millions. The room fell silent. The council representatives were trying to process numbers. That made their entire civilization seem insignificant. Why are you telling us this? Dr. Wren asked. Because you need to understand your situation, Blake said. This is not a conquest. This is not an occupation. This is a partnership between an adult civilization and several children who have been playing with dangerous toys. Max felt anger rising despite his fear. We are not children. You fight wars with hundreds of ships. We plan for wars with millions of ships. You struggle to maintain peace between 12 species. We have maintained peace on a planet with hundreds of nations and cultures. You call this equality? Admiral Ross returned to his seat. The universe is a dangerous place, Leader Max. There are threats out there that make your worst nightmares look like children's stories. The Devourers I mentioned earlier? They have consumed 47 star systems in the past century. They are moving toward council space. Why have we never heard of them? Because we have been fighting them. Human fleets have been holding the line for decades while you debated trade regulations and border disputes. Blake activated one final display. It showed a massive starship, larger than a space station. This is a Devourer ship. One of these could destroy your entire fleet. They travel in groups of hundreds. Max stared at the image. How do you fight something like that? with ships like this. The display changed to show a human vessel that dwarfed even the Devourer ship, Dreadnought-class battleships. We have been building them for 30 years. How many do you have? Enough, Admiral Ross said simply. Dr. Wren was looking at the technical specifications. The power requirements for a ship that size are manageable when you have controlled fusion, reactors, and antimatter storage, Blake finished. We did not just advance beyond your technology, Dr. Wren. We advanced beyond your imagination. Max realized that everything he thought he knew about galactic power was wrong. The Council species were not the dominant force in the galaxy. They were not even significant players. They were protected children who had been living in safety while others fought the real battles. What happens now? He asked quietly. Admiral Ross smiled. For the first time, it seemed genuinely friendly. Now you learn. Your people will be safer, stronger, and more prosperous under human guidance. Your children will grow up in a galaxy where piracy and slavery are extinct. Your colonies will thrive under human protection. And in return? In return, you acknowledge reality. Humanity is not your equal. We are your guardians. And guardianship comes with responsibility on both sides. Blake stood up. The transport ships are waiting to take you home. You have 72 hours to present our terms to your full council. We suggest you recommend acceptance. And if the council votes to reject your terms? Admiral Ross and Captain Blake exchanged glances. Leader Max, democracy is a wonderful thing. But the laws of physics are not subject to votes.